Real Talk, episode 511, segment 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Talk, the show where real faith meets real life. I'm your host, Pastor Jay, and I'm excited today because I'm with my man, Benjah. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed.
So good to have you here. Recording artist, you got a couple bands.
Yeah.
I listen to your stuff. You know, like I love your sound. It's so unique. We'll go wake surfing, you know, or we're driving to the beach to go surfing, and it's like you got the perfect vibe, that blend of rap and reggae.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, tell us a little bit about that sound, how you developed it.
Well, I guess every artist's sound is formulated from the years of them listening to music. So growing up, my mom played a lot of Motown type stuff, Stevie Wonder. A lot of stuff was soul and rhythm, you know, R&B.
I've been trying to find this vibe for a long time. Always seeming like it's coming on its own time. But it feels so good, ain't gonna lie.
It's like that was the foundation of me liking kind of that rhythmic type feel. And then as you grow older, you start picking your own music out, you know?
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of bands experimenting with fusion stuff when I was growing up. POD, Sublime.
Yep.
Even Korn kind of did some, you know, fusion type stuff.
Yeah.
Who else? I can't remember off the top of my head, but stuff like that, you know, and that's how I kind of got introduced into reggae music, is Sublime and POD kind of doing their stuff. Oh, and 311.
311 for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
All those off-time, upstroke,
uh-huh.
like, wait, what are you doing? Yep. The Police used to do that too, even before them.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. But that was kind of an introduction to that. And obviously, as you evolve, you find more stuff, right? Or you meet more people that know more artists than you do.
Yeah.
So it's just been years and years of sifting through stuff and finding what I like, what I don't like. And, you know, everything that goes in your ears, you know, like it sits somewhere in your soul, right? So it comes back out one way or another.
Well, I like what's coming out, brother.
Yeah.
So thank Mom for Motown.
Yes.
Because that Motown influence, I mean,
hey,
that's
you can't
solid.
go wrong with Motown.
And that's why, like, because sometimes it'll be like, this feels like a good rap vibe.
Yeah.
This feels like a reggae song. Every once in a while, it's a grab the pastor's wife in the kitchen and let her know, hey, baby.
Hey, that's right.
You know, that's in there, too.
Yeah, it is.
I love that vibe. Talk to me a little bit about, like, your journey into the music business. Because, you know, there's so many paths that lead there, and there's so many people that want their path to lead there, but it doesn't. How'd you get into this?
Yeah, the love for music was easy, natural in me. My mom was a musician, still is, I guess you'd say, and just always encouraged it, always playing music, always dancing around the house. She would practice piano for hours. I remember, like, taking naps under our baby grand piano, like, just in hearing all the clanking around and all the keys and hitting. It just fed me, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think she started me in piano lessons real young. Hated it. I begged for electric guitar. She gave me a Spanish guitar, nylon string. I was like begging for an electric guitar. But that's how it started in 3rd grade, I guess, when I got my guitar. And the love for music was, like I said, supernatural. It was easy. There's nothing that had to encourage me or push me to like music or pursue music.
So you always had the love of music, but now you're built like a guy that could either beat up other men for a living, right? UFC, you know, you could be destined for that. Football.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a path, though? Because sports was a big deal to you.
Yeah, so my dad kind of gave me football. My mom gave me my Christian walk and my love for music. My dad gave me, like, love for outdoors and football and working out and all that. So that was kind of what he poured into me, and I was basically raised to be a football player my whole life. Yeah, football was the ultimate dream and goal, and football and music was always fighting for my love and attention.
Interesting.
But they're different enough that you can kind of do both, you know. But yeah, I got an opportunity to play college football, so I took the scholarship and got in a really bad car accident my freshman year. 18 years old. We got T-boned. Driver was my friend. I wasn't driving. He didn't make it through the accident. We were both, helicopters came to get us from the scene. Like, I don't remember much. I remember headlights, like right here, like basically in my eye, like headlights, and then like explosion sound, like the car hitting our car. And then I woke up by hearing the helicopters and paramedics like touching me everywhere. Where do you hurt? Where do you hurt? Where do you hurt? Like, that's how I woke up.
Wow.
And don't remember much after that.
And did that permanently injure you in some way, or just alter the course from?
Yeah, both. I think I'd already had 2 concussions that year just in practice. And that was a pretty major head trauma to me. My spleen exploded, so that was my emergency surgery. I had to remove my spleen because you die within a half hour of your spleen exploding.
Wow.
Because all your contaminants that have been filtered through, and then it just goes out. Man. So, so the permanent, I don't know if I want to say permanent damage, but the scare of playing again was continued concussions.
Yeah.
Yep. Once whatever breaks loose in your head, like if you watch sports, that's one of the biggest things they talk about, especially in football right now.
Yep.
Concussions.
And I played some sports. I know I may look small to you, Benjah, but your boy could ball back in the day.
I believe you.
All right, so you just can't become a recording artist.
Right.
There's a process.
Right.
Like, where do you go from you love music and you like to make music?
Yeah, and that's a great question, and I didn't know that either. At the time, all I knew was Full Sail, and I also didn't know I wanted to be an artist at that time. I just wanted to be in music, and I didn't even know what or how. I knew I was gifted, and I knew I was passionate. That's all I knew,
So you go to Full Sail.
So I went to Full Sail.
Like to produce, maybe?
Well, they didn't even have a production degree then. It was just recording arts. So you learn the art of recording. Yep. And so I learned how to audio engineer. I was really good at it, which is cool, but that's not like the end of my creativity. You know what I mean? My first internship in the first studio I worked at, actually I tried to leave Orlando.
Okay.
And all like my resumes got sent back. I was like, what's going on? And it was a God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes he closes doors, right?
He closed every door. I'm like, what the heck? And do you know William McDowell? Have you heard of him?
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's a pretty big praise and worship leader. He has a church here in town, but he travels internationally. But anyway, he was my administration rep at Full Sail, and he kind of introduced me into producing. Like, he let me sit in studios because he was producing. So he kind of taught me about that. And then he knew Ron Canoli.
Okay.
The OG in the
time
praise and worship game. And he had sons named the Canoli Brothers, and they were kind of doing Christian R&B at the time, and they had an independent label. They brought me on, and like within my first session, I started producing it, and I didn't even know I was producing because I was hired to engineer. But I guess God gave me a gift to hear where it can go, and I just voice it. I'm not scared, so I voice it, and all of a sudden it starts.
If I was your size, I wouldn't be scared to voice anything, bro.
Yeah, but you're new in the studio. I'm 19 years old.
True.
Like, these guys have been recording for a long time.
Yeah.
But anyway, it started sounding better, and everyone's like, oh, wow. So then they let me speak into things, and it just snowballed into me started making the tracks. And then I would start writing melodies and just start forming, giving them a skeleton, to work with. That's what a producer does.
Yeah, and how long have you been doing that?
Long time now.
Yeah?
Yeah, about 15 years.
Now, and part of what I like about you is you're kind of an enigma. I don't know what box to put you in. And that's by design, isn't it?
God's design, yeah. I don't think it's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't you don't exactly fit here. One of the things I know for you is, so you're a Christian who's an artist,
right?
But you struggle with being a Christian artist or having that label, right?
Yeah, I don't know if struggle is the right word, but
just talk about that tension a little bit. I know there's tension around that.
Yes, that's a better word. When I started music, or when I finally started putting out my own music, so I was producing, right, for a while.
Yeah.
and I started to write melodies, and then I started to record the ideas, and eventually people are like, I want to leave you on the hook. I'm like, no, get a real singer or get somebody else. Like, no, we're leaving you on the hook. And people started encouraging me, you need to start making music. So I did. And it was this crazy fusion. Like, I don't even know. I used to call it island soul rock. Like, I didn't even know what it was.
It's R&B, reggae, rap with some rock. Yeah, that's wild.
But anyway, so when I started, that wasn't really an issue for me. It kind of was, but I let it go. I'm like, whatever. If people want to put me in the Christian box, I'll allow them. Like, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
And for several years and several albums, cool with it, you know. I just didn't want to have to deal with what you have to deal with when you try to say, well, I'm not really in this box. It's hard. When people put you in a box, it's very hard to climb out of it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Or you can climb out of it, but they still see you in there, even if you're not in there. You know what I'm saying? But throughout the years of just dealing with, I guess, the politics within the Christian industry and also connected with churches and this and that, I didn't feel called to that scene. I felt called to a scene where I felt people needed more light.
Yeah.
You know, the darker places.
Yeah.
I really felt God told me, I don't know if this will sound weird, but people from the church have enough encouragement. They have so many outlets to turn to.
Sure.
So many artists to turn to. So many preachers. So many books to turn to. People in the world don't have things to turn to because they're scared or they shut it off to them, right? So how can you reach somebody like that? Well, I feel God gave me the avenue to reach them with, like, relevant, dope music.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's non-preachy, but has a lot of substance if you listen.
Totally.
But it's non-preachy. So I would say, like, when Motives came out, and that's the album that's Never Quit on it, that's when God gave me the peace to kind of part from the Christian industry, I guess you would say, or just not claim it, or whatever you want to say. He gave me the freedom to go.
Yep.
He gave me the green light, and doors started opening, and Never Quit took off. And I gained a huge secular fan base off that song.
Which, and I love that. Like, I've got artist friends. You know, one of my friends, we were talking about Brian, who's in the band Korn.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a saved believer, loves Jesus, like, fasts for, I think he's in the middle of a, like, 40-day fast right now. My dude just loves the Lord. Like, he's on fire. But he's in the band Korn. Yeah. And he said it was a calling thing, the same thing you're talking about. Like, God told me, those are the people I designed you to reach. Go reach them, man. They need something. They need you.
Yeah, and God gave me the I don't know, the cosign, I guess you want to say. Like, and this is how he did it. I would always get emails or whatever, messages from fans and from believers. I love getting messages from believers. But when I get a message from a non-believer, it's a totally different thing going on here. And God, every time I get that, he's like, that's what you're for. That's why you're here. And when I get to hear how I am uplifting someone's life that has nothing uplifting in their life.
Right.
No one to turn to, no music.
Right.
Nothing that's deep and spiritual and that can heal. Like
I love
God. So
you can see that lights you up, too.
Man.
And I love the way you framed this whole discussion, because a lot of times we'll get maybe disparaging about the Christian bubble or things. I've talked to artists, and it's just because they got burned out from it, or the church. As a pastor sometimes, like, my heart is to reach the people far from God.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just this weekend, somebody asked me to pray for their friend because she lost a cat. And I'm like, that's not why God put me here. I want to thank all the cat prayer people out there that your heart goes out to that. Like, first of all, I don't like cats.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm just, like, not even the right guy to talk to. But the next person in line was like, I've never been to church before in my adult life, and I never thought it was like this. And I feel like you're somebody I can trust. And I'm like, same thing. God's saying, that's why I put you here. And that you have that unique calling and you embrace it, you know? God uses that. We got to take a break, though.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to keep this conversation going with my man, Benjah. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be right back.
see us wrong with all of mine. You know we ride till we die. It's too heavy, thought it would be light. Every time we pull up, you can see us from the satellites. Got your body moving like it's turn up on a Latin night. I ain't gotta talk about it, I'm just speaking facts of life. You can do the most, but that don't mean you do it right. Nah. Whoa there, whoa there, whoa there, get your weight up. Whoa there, whoa there, whoa there, get your weight up. Whoa there, whoa there.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Real Talk. I'm with national recording artist Benjah, my man. We're talking about tensions in the music business and in Christianity, you know, being a Christian artist. But I want to talk a little bit about highlights for you. What are some things that you've accomplished or God's allowed you to do that you look back on and go, that was cool?
A couple years into putting out music, I got like some international like response going, especially from Brazil. And I got to tour out there 3 different times. And that was pretty incredible. And within that time, I also got to tour Africa and go out to this, I guess, concert festival, like 10,000 people. It's pretty amazing. But I don't know if my highlights are that. I think my highlights are more the hard times, which sounds
really
backwards. But that's what's memorable to me, and that's what shaped me, is the letdowns.
You write about them.
Yeah.
Like you're one of those artists where I feel like I know you a little bit from listening to your music.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I kind of know his life story because he told it there.
Yeah.
I know you've had some heartbreak and some hurt, and so what stands out when you think about?
It's very hard not to compare yourself to other artists in a success realm. I'm an entrepreneur, so I don't look at music just for meaning. I look at it as a business. I'm a businessman, so I have to.
Is it wrong to want to blow up?
Is it wrong?
That's what your
You know what I
lyrics,
mean? Is
right?
it? But God has taught me so much by not allowing me to succeed in certain moments where I feel I should have. And as an independent artist, I've been extremely successful. So I'm not trying to say that I'm not downplaying what God has done. But there's been so many times in the last 10 years of putting out music that I wanted to put all my studio gear on the curb and said, anybody want gear, come get it at this address.
Wow.
Like, I wanted to quit so many times. And I'm not a quitter. Hence the song Never Quit. I don't quit. I'm persistent. Any of my friends would tell you I might be the most persistent person they know. But I've wanted to quit just because of how broken, when you look for your identity in the wrong things,
That's all of us.
you're going down.
Yeah.
If you look for your identity in anything other than being made in the image of God, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
And you're going to be depressed. And I've dealt with that most of my life because I'm a sinner and I look for my identity in the wrong things every day. And I have to remind myself, or I say God has to remind me who I am and what I'm here for.
That'll preach. That's all of us, right? Like, I know everybody watching the show is like, yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, it's
like,
it's too
whether
easy.
it's looks or it's our success, followers on Instagram, and you're like, why do people follow that pastor but they don't follow that musician?
Right.
I mean, and you're talking about a dude that's like got perfect hair and like dope tattoos and is an artist, great teeth. Like, come on, man, you got it all, bro. But what are some things that you, like, as you've tried to put your stock in that thing, it's just failed you?
I think what a lot of times we do, because comparing is not always bad, right? Sometimes
True,
you
it
need
could
to
drive you.
compare and contrast to learn or whatever. I think a lot of times we're comparing to situations that are nowhere near equal.
Right.
Like, we're going Pee-wee football to an NFL player. Like, if I'm still a Pee-wee artist, I need to understand that. I'm not an NFL artist yet. You know what I mean?
Totally.
But I'm comparing myself to the one out there that's smashing heads and getting paid millions every week. I'm not there yet. That's how it was for me because those were a lot of my friends.
Right.
So having friends that are successful in industry hurt me because I knew the reality of it. I'm like, why am I not there? Well, maybe God has a different plan. maybe God needs to humble you before you can get there, because if you get there, you'll ruin his name, just like thousands of other people that ruin his name every day. Millions of people that ruin God's name.
It's probably better for us in the long run. Like, I realized, so I went through a lot of stuff early on as a pastor that just broke me. Like, I was completely humbled. You'd almost say humiliated at times. You know, like you're a prophet in your hometown, in your home church. Yeah. And I look at the success of our church now, if you can even use that word. But like, we have a mission, and it's to reach lost people, and we're successful in that. But then lots of people come, and then they hear about you, and then like, I don't think I would be able to be that guy for those people if God hadn't completely broken me early on. And I think that same thing with you, that struggle, that journey forged in the fire is what God's preparing in you, because he just keeps lifting you up.
Brokenness is a beautiful thing.
It is.
It's a hard thing to deal with, but when someone is broken and humble, there's nothing more attractive about the human being as a broken person, because humility is so beautiful.
Nobody wants to be there, though. Like, we fight against it.
I hate it, but I've over the years, I've come to embrace it. I embrace it. Like, I'm broken right now. You know what I mean? I feel so broken.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, because we're so lost.
Yeah.
Even if you know the truth, even if you're found, yeah, I'm found, but I'm lost, man. What we all have to deal with every day.
That's so true.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's
our own thoughts betray us. We can't follow our own heart. That's what it is. Yeah,
it's our thoughts. I think one of the biggest things that I am learning, and I think this will be a lifelong battle. My pastor told me this. He said, stop listening to yourself and start talking to yourself.
Ooh.
Meaning.
That's good.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways you could take that, but everybody's different. But I have a very strong voice inside my head, and it's speaking loud, nonstop, speaking to me right now, telling me dumb things, you know what I mean? And I've grown accustomed to listening to it. And usually that person we're listening to, it sounds like I'm crazy right now. I'm listening to a person in my head.
I want to talk to Benjah. Yeah. I want to talk to Benjah.
But usually that voice in our head is usually the wrong voice. No. It's usually sin.
For real, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But if you grow accustomed to listening to that, it's going to become ingrained in you.
Sin, doubt, insecurity, fear, all the things, the lies that the enemy's whispering all the time. Not trusting other people, whatever that thing is. Yeah.
So he said replace it with truth. And, you know, I know the truth.
The truth to yourself.
Speak it and listen. And it seems easy, but I guess when you, for so many years, have lived one way, it's not easy, dude. It's not easy.
No.
But one thing I started to do, and it sounds so elementary, but a lot of times we pray it's silent, right? Majority of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I've started praying audibly in the morning and thanking God for everything he's given me, because I know that any second, all of it can be gone. Blink of an eye. Amen. Blink of an eye, man. No matter what type of accident or thing could happen, or everything that anybody has, I don't care who you are, can be gone in the blink of an eye. And if that doesn't humble you to want to trust God, then I don't know what will.
Man, that's so true. You know, it's funny because I fasted at the beginning of this year, and the phrase that God gave me was from Philippians 3. And it's not even, it's just like the header of Philippians 3. It says, no confidence in the flesh. Where Paul's talking about all the reasons why, you know, if anybody was going to be confident, I got this going for me, I was this guy, I accomplished that, but no confidence in the flesh. And I was thinking, like, because we usually do both. We operate in the flesh and the spirit.
Right.
And then when the flesh gets too heavy, we run back to the spirit. And then we get in the spirit too much, like, I got this.
Yeah.
And Jesus says, apart from me, you can do nothing. But like Paul's bar was no confidence in the flesh. I'm not walking into any room relying on my sense of humor, my wit, my looks, my intellect. You know, like, I'm just trusting in Jesus.
Yeah.
That's that brokenness, like living in that place.
It's a beautiful place to be.
That could be an album coming out right now. Are you writing right now?
I'm producing right now. Kind of in a gray area, I guess you could say, which is actually cool because usually I'm very focused. All right, I'm working on this album, and this is the sound. Right now, I don't know what I'm working on. I'm just marketing my last record, Guidance, which just came out in November.
I just started listening to it yesterday.
It's doing amazing.
It's amazing.
Why did it take you so long to find it?
I didn't know it was out, dude. I'm a pastor, man.
Yeah,
you know, I'm in the Christian bubble.
Yeah.
Help me out.
Well, glad you finally got it.
Thank
heard
you.
It.
Thank you.
But yeah, so right now, like I'm creating with complete freedom. I don't know if this will be from my record and I still work with other artists, so I still sell tracks to other artists. You know what I mean? So it could be for that. But it might not. I don't really know. But I do feel like I'm in a season where I'm going to eventually fuse my two brands, which I was kind of telling you earlier.
Yeah.
When I first started music, I was doing reggae and rap mixed together, kind of. And then I felt like the industry couldn't accept it, so then I took reggae out and created Loved Ones, which is a reggae band. Then my solo stuff was more rap. But I'm feeling like I really want to either fuse them. Like at the end of the day, I know I'm going to end up doing reggae music. At the end of the day, it's how do I get there? So I'm going to take this road to find it. So I don't really know.
Not to disappoint all the rap Benjah fans out there, but it's still going to be in there.
Yeah, there'll be elements of it for sure. Like no matter what style I'm in, my music's diverse. Like because I'm influenced by so much, and being that I produce most of it, like I get to really, my hands are in it, so I get to shape it the way I want.
Well, hey man, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like and thank you for sharing your heart.
Yeah.
Your message of brokenness and living with that, I think can really speak to all of us. So I thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you got something out of this conversation. I know I did. As always, we just want to keep it real, and we want to remember that God is crazy about us. So thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for being here, my brother.
Thank you, man.
God bless.
Yeah.
See you guys soon.